Hi guys, my name is Mark Kennedy, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about pay-per-click advertising and diving a little bit deeper. So in previous videos we gave you an overall of what pay-per-click advertising was and how to measure the return on that value, not just for pay-per-click but for your business in general. And today we're going to talk a little bit about who should do it, when, and why. So a lot of you guys may be doing search engine optimization and working on other channels, and that's a slower build because you have to build assets to your site and do a lot of link building and tagging and things like that. But if you're looking for an early turn on your investment and trying to get some traffic or some lead flow into your business as you're first starting out, pay-per-click advertising might be a good way to go for you. One, because you can control the spend, you can control the budget, you can control who's coming to your site and from what areas. So, perfect example, a lot of people say, well, my pay-per-click advertising is going to impact my SEO, and that's a myth. SEO and pay-per-click are two separate channels. There is some synergy between them, and there's studies that show that 1 + 1 = 3, but just because you do pay-per-click doesn't mean your SEO rankings are going to go up. Totally different, two totally different channels. But if you're in the early stages of SEO and you have a lot to do and you're not showing up yet and you're still building out things, you can easily set up a pay-per-click campaign to target some of your main keywords, A, to get some traffic and lead flow to your sites, but to B, to learn which keywords are really working for you. So for example, we use fence contractors. Maybe fencing is too broad a keyword and too competitive to go after for your SEO, but you find out from pay-per-click that fence contractors drives a lot of leads, right? So that might be a better keyword to use in your title tags and in the content of your site. So using pay-per-click not only is its own channel to drive revenue, but it also may be a way to help other channels, and what terms to go for. And a perfect example here, like we use as fence contractors. Also, it helps if you're trying to target areas where you don't serve locally, meaning you have a local business in Philadelphia, but what if you want to serve the suburbs, or maybe you want to venture into New York where you don't have a physical presence as of yet, or you want to test the waters and see what kind of business you can get. A pay-per-click campaign you can just set up and target an area like New York or Pittsburgh, or an area you want to target where, and if you wanted to target that way through SEO, it would take a longer process. So it's more of quick data and a way to get some quick business to your site as you build other channels, other marketing channels. And of course, it's going to help people who are in very competitive areas. So you can see from this example here, you type in fence contractors. Let's say you are number one organically, like fence contractors, this site right here. Even if you're number one, truthfully, if you're number one here, truthfully, there's 3 people above you on the page who are paying to be there. So being number one is actually almost like being number 4 in some cases for SEO. Not that you won't want to do SEO, because that will build up your presence and your traffic, and over the long haul will bring you a lot of leads and business. But pay-per-click can get you to above the fold and get you the top faster. You do have to pay for these, so you have to measure the ROI, but it is another way to get more exposure on the search engines. And as you can see, Google realizes that a lot of people like to click on organic listings, and it used to be that pay-per-click was only on the side, then eventually came over to the top, but it still looked very different. Now it's very hard to distinguish SEO and PPC ads because the coloring in the background is very subtle, and the blue lines look more and more like organic listings. So Google's definitely blending the lines between pay-per-click and organic to make sure that people are clicking on these ads. Google's a billion-dollar industry, so they're making their money on people clicking on these ads, and so there's a lot of money and there's a lot of people you can reach through these channels. And as alluded to earlier, there is a synergy between organic and pay-per-click, meaning if you have a pay-per-click campaign set up and you have good organic listings and you have good local listings, and if you have some other assets on the first page like video, you could literally be on the first page for a search term 4 times via video, a map listing, an organic, and a pay-per-click. So what does that do? 1, that makes less room for your competitors. 2, that gives you an overall presence that's almost impossible to miss you. And 3, that's where the 1 + 1 = 3 is. If they come from organic, or if they come from pay-per-click, or if they come from a video asset you have, all those different assets on the first page get them to your site, and it's almost, like I said, it's almost impossible for them to not find your services. So again, just to recap, pay-per-click is its own measurable channel with its own ROI, but it does help people who are working on their SEO in the meantime, who have early start, or they want to go into other areas or just in competitive areas, and they just want more presence on the search engines to A, knock down their competitors, and B, get more traffic and leads to their sites.